5 years with Ace. Everyone thought Ace was madly in love with me, and I believed it too. Until I found out he had a 6-year-old child with someone else. I couldn't believe it. Was I the other woman? "Hello, do you mind if I bring my child along?" The woman across the table smiled brightly. She was wearing the latest fashion, carrying a large transparent bag filled with her child's belongings. She held a boy's hand with her left hand and shyly hid behind the woman, looking at me. The child's eyebrows and eyes were the spitting image of Ace. I was a little stunned and said blankly, "Okay." When I came to my senses, the woman had already sat down with her child. "Miss Yuri, why did you ask me out?" The woman across from me smiled slightly, the corners of her mouth clearly turned up, yet it sent a chill down my spine. I suddenly remembered why I had asked Lena out. This morning, I received a photo from a friend showing Ace and a woman out shopping. Ace looked serious, while the woman beside him stared at him with a smile on her face. Anyone looking at the photo would think it was a case of unrequited love. My friend's indignant voice came through the phone, "Yuri, I took this photo while shopping today. There's another woman next to Ace. You can tell by the way she looks that she's another gold digger. Ace is exceptionally handsome and now runs several companies. During the 5 years I spent with Ace, there were always beautiful women around him. Although Ace never crossed the line with these women, not even giving them a smile, I am very possessive and cannot stand seeing other women flirting with Ace. Everyone in the circle knows this. So every time I saw women surrounding Ace, I would find an opportunity to chase them away, and sometimes I would even deliberately invite them out to humiliate them. Ace knew about all of this, but he always tacitly approved of my whims. After hanging up, I had someone find this woman's number and find out her name, Lena. Coincidentally, Lena had just been to her friend's beauty salon yesterday. Using the number, I sent Lena a text message pretending to be from the beauty salon and asked her to meet me. "Yuri." Lena's voice brought me back to reality. Lena stared at me and smiled slightly. I looked at Lena across from me and the child she was holding, and sat down. "Is this your child, Lena?" I tried to keep myself calm, but my voice was still trembling. "Yes, Yuri, the child's father is busy. Do you mind if I bring the child along?" Lena raised the corners of her mouth, as if showing off. I ignored Lena's smile and asked, "Where is the child's father?" "The child's father is the president of the company and is very busy with work, so I usually take care of him, but his father also often takes time off to play with him." Lena held the child in one arm and took a sip of coffee with the other, speaking slowly and calmly. I remained calm on the surface, but my hands trembled uncontrollably under the table, and I had a bad feeling in my heart. "How old is the child?" The woman replied, "Wade is 6 years old." 6 years old. I had been with Ace for 5 years. But their child was 6 years old. I made up an excuse to get Lena to leave. Sitting in the cafe, I felt a bit lost. There was too much information to take in at once. Ace, who I had been in love with for 5 years and married for 2, had a 6-year-old child with another woman. My mind is a bit confused. I can't read Lena's expression. Does she know about my relationship with Ace? Why does Lena's child look so much like Ace? Why did Ace go out shopping alone with Lena? When my friend first told me, I was just jealous and didn't think much of it. I picked up my phone and looked again at the photo my friend had sent me. There was indeed a child standing next to Ace, but Ace's body was blocking most of it, so I hadn't noticed. Now that I think about it, something definitely felt off. I just sat there in the cafe, not knowing how much time had passed or what to do. It was already late at night when I got home. As soon as I opened the door, Ace rushed over, put his hands on my shoulders, and carefully checked to see if I was hurt. "Yuri, where did you go? I called you so many times, but you didn't answer. You scared me to death." Ace's eyes were filled with worry, and he only relaxed when he saw that I was okay. Ace always treated me like a child and never let me go out alone at night. When we first got together, Ace wasn't as successful as he is now, and we lived in a small rented room. Back then, no matter how busy Ace was at work, he would always come home every day to cook for me and never let me do any housework. Whenever he had to travel for work, he would video call me all night because he was worried I would be scared sleeping alone. When he returned from his trips, he would always bring me little gifts. Ace is the perfect partner, and I've never doubted his love for me. I held Ace tightly, burying my head in his strong chest, and said in a muffled voice, "Ace, you love me, right?" "Silly, of course I love you. Did something happen to make you unhappy?" Ace noticed that something was wrong and hugged me back, patting me gently on the back. Ace has always been very attentive to my mood swings. I am usually very selfish and often take my temper out on him, but Ace never gets tired of comforting me until I laugh out loud and he is satisfied. How could I believe a woman who appeared out of nowhere, rather than the man I had been with for 5 years? But what about the child? The child did look a lot like Ace. After 5 years together, I had never heard him mention having a brother. My mind was spinning, and I unconsciously loosened my grip on Ace's hand. Ace's phone rang at an inopportune moment. He took out his phone, saw who was calling, let go of me, and walked to the balcony to answer it. My chest felt a little tight. Ace had never answered his phone behind my back before. "Yuri, there's something urgent at work that I need to take care of. If you're tired, go ahead and sleep. Don't wait up for me." Ace grabbed his jacket, kissed me on the forehead, and hurried out the door. I had a vague feeling that something was wrong, but I couldn't think about it too much. I didn't want to doubt Ace, but the child Lena brought with her looked so much like Ace. I wanted to ask Ace, but I was afraid of hearing something bad from him. I called a friend and asked him to find me the best private investigator. After hanging up, I went back to bed and fell asleep, but I didn't sleep well and had many strange dreams. In my dream, I was crying and questioning Ace about the child. Ace tried to explain, but I refused to listen. I cried and made a scene, and Ace grew impatient and left home, not returning for a long time. Later, I threatened Ace and even kidnapped Lena and her children, all to get Ace back. Of course, I didn't succeed, and my actions only pushed Ace further away. In the end, Ace left me, and I fell into depression after losing him, eventually jumping to my death. After waking up from these fragmented dreams, I found it was already dawn. I groggily picked up my phone, and it was exactly 6 o'clock. The space beside me felt empty. Ace hadn't come home all night and hadn't even sent me a message. Ace would never do this. No matter how late he worked, he would always let me know in advance. Even if he finished work at midnight, he would still come home to sleep with me. I shook my head, trying to forget those terrible dreams. I opened my phone and saw a friend request. It was the detective I had asked a friend to find for me. I accepted the request and briefly explained my situation to the detective. Then I called Ace, but his phone rang several times without an answer. I sat on the bed, not knowing how long I had been staring blankly, when the phone alert sounded. Private investigators are expensive, but they are really efficient. I had barely finished speaking when he sent me several photos and a file, along with a note saying, "These were just taken." I opened the file, which showed that Lena was Ace's ex-girlfriend. They had been in a relationship 6 years ago, but for some reason, they broke up. After the breakup, Lena went abroad. I clicked on the photo, which showed Ace, Lena, and the little boy. Ace is wearing the same outfit he wore today. The little boy seems to be sick, lying in bed with his eyes closed tightly. Lena covers her face as if she is crying, while Ace gently comforts her. I am all too familiar with Ace's state of mind. He has comforted me and coaxed me countless times in this way. I always thought his tenderness was reserved only for me, but I was wrong. I felt a warm sensation on my face and wiped it away, but the tears kept flowing, more and more. My chest felt like it was being stabbed with needles, causing sharp pains to surge through me. "Ace, didn't you say you loved me?" "You're a liar." I just sat there on the bed, not knowing how much time had passed, when the bedroom door was opened. It was Ace, looking exhausted, probably having not slept all night. When Ace saw me sitting there, there was a moment of panic on his face. He immediately sat down on the bed and hugged me, The scent of hospital disinfectant and a faint fragrance wafted to my nose. Yuri, I'm sorry I came back late. Did you wait for me? You fool. Ace's thin lips lightly brushed against my neck. Did he just hold other women like that too? Thinking of this, I lost all reason, pushed Ace away forcefully, and shouted at him, Ace, how long do you plan to deceive me? I threw my phone at Ace, and tears streamed down my face. Ace picked up his phone and saw the photo, his face clearly startled. Yuri, it's not like that, Ace paused for a long time, opened his mouth but didn't say anything. Explain yourself. You said the child isn't yours, you said you were really going to take care of work, say something, say something. I gasped for air, my voice choked with sobs, my hands pounding Ace's chest. Ace restrained my hands, held down my writhing body, and embraced me. Yuri, I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you, but I was afraid you would react like this, so I didn't know how to start. Yuri, can you calm down and listen to me? I didn't know about this child at first. Lena came to me a month ago and told me about him. She said she was in a difficult situation and couldn't even afford to send him to school, so she hoped I could help her. Yuri, can you understand me? This is my child, I can't just abandon him. But I love you, I never thought of leaving you, Yuri. I suddenly woke up. These words were exactly the same as what Ace had said in my dream just now. In my dream, Ace said he would never leave me, but later he often met with Lena for the sake of the children, and the two rekindled their old feelings. I was so jealous that I did many terrible things. Ace also left me. My tears suddenly stopped, and I carefully recalled what had happened since I woke up. The detective sent me photos, and Ace came back to explain. Even the way Ace hugged me was the same as in my dream. What was going on? Everything seemed to be unfolding just like in my dream. So, will I really? Ace thought I had calmed down, let go of my hands, cupped my tear-stained face, and whispered, Yuri, this was my fault. I shouldn't have kept it from you. But please believe me, I'll take care of it. Didn't you say you were afraid of having children? I'll bring Wade back, and the three of us can live together, okay? We can be just like we were before, right? I laughed out loud. What he said was just like in my dream. For some reason, I'm starting to believe that my dream was real. Ace, are you still the Ace I know? If I hadn't had that dream, I would have accepted Wade's existence over time because I love Ace so much. I truly believe that Ace won't leave me, and we'll live just like we used to. But Ace, you will leave me, you'll be with another woman, and you'll be the happy family of three. You'll get tired of me and abandon me. I pushed Ace away and wiped away my tears. My voice was unusually calm, Ace, I want a divorce. After I told Ace that I wanted a divorce, he went crazy and refused to accept it. It's been a week now, and he hasn't come home. Everything that has happened so far has been like a dream, except for the fact that I asked him for a divorce. To this day, I still don't understand why I had such a realistic dream. Maybe God saw how pitiful I was and wanted to warn me? I've thought about it. Since I know what will happen in the future, maybe I can change my strategy and still be with Ace. But what if I can't change? When I think about my fate in the dream, I can still vividly remember the pain of jumping off the roof. In the dream, I tried all sorts of ways to win Ace back, but Ace just didn't love me anymore. I don't want to go through that pain again. The look in Ace's eyes when he looked at me with disgust was more painful than jumping off a building. I found a lawyer to help me draft a divorce agreement. I love Ace, but I think I should love myself more. The lawyer quickly gave me the divorce agreement, and the property distribution was very even. I thought Ace would have no reason to refuse. I took the divorce agreement and went to Ace's office to find him. Madam, why are you here? Ace's secretary was a little surprised to see me. That's true. Since we got married 2 years ago, I haven't been to the company much. Where's Ace? Ma'am, Mr. Ace is out meeting a client. Why don't you go to Mr. Ace's office and wait for him? The secretary took me to Ace's office. I had originally intended to leave the divorce agreement behind and depart, but on Ace's desk, I noticed a photograph of the three of them. In the photograph, Ace was smiling broadly, Lena was affectionately wrapped around Ace's arm, and the little boy in Ace's arms was laughing innocently. I stared at the photo, lost in thought. Although I had already decided to give up on Ace, seeing such a photo made me feel as if I had been doused with ice water from head to toe, and my heart grew cold. I squeezed my palms tightly, forcing myself not to cry. I didn't go home this week because I went to keep them company, and I even took some photos. When my secretary saw me standing there, she followed my gaze and saw the photos. He quickly closed the photo, his face flushing with embarrassment, but his professional demeanor allowed him to put on a polite smile. "Ma'am, this is Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade needs this photo for school, but Mr. Ace couldn't take it, so don't bother explaining to me. We're getting divorced anyway." I placed the divorce agreement on Ace's desk. "Tell Mr. Ace to sign it and send it to me. I didn't want to see him anymore." With that, I turned and left without looking back. Come to think of it, Ace used to have photos of the two of us on his desk. Never mind, it's okay. It's only natural for a family of three to take photos together. When I left the company, my heart was pounding. I randomly went to a nearby mall to buy something to distract myself. "Wrap this up for me." "Ace, this is nice." A female voice rang out at the same time as mine. I turned around and saw Ace holding the child and following Lena, smiling broadly. That female voice just now was Lena's. "Ace, that's so affectionate." Ace clearly saw me too, and his smile froze. "What a coincidence," Lena said, smiling at me, seemingly unaware of my relationship with Ace. I ignored Lena and stared intently at Ace. Ace placed the child next to Lena and walked over to me. "Lena, this is Yuri, whom I have mentioned to you." Ace attempted to take my hand, but perhaps because the child was present, he let go. I took a step back to create some distance. "Mr. Ace, you're in a good mood, taking time out of work to go shopping with your family. Yuri, let's go home and I'll explain." Ace turned his back to Lena and the child and whispered to me, "It's okay. I've already sent the divorce agreement to your office. Once you sign it, we'll have no further connection. You can choose to be with whoever you want, and it won't concern me anymore. Yuri, stop throwing a tantrum." Ace sighed and tried to grab my hand. I struggled away. "Don't touch me, you make me sick." The scene before my eyes was too painful to bear, and the words that came out of my mouth were unintentionally harsh. As if provoked by the word disgusting, Ace became agitated. "Stop this nonsense. For all these years, I've always gone along with you. Can't you understand me just this once?" I sneered. "Understand? Understand that my husband has a child with someone else?" Just as I was about to speak, Lena spoke first. "Yuri, I'm sorry. It was me who found Ace first. If you want to blame someone, blame me for not having enough money to support Wade. Otherwise, I would never have disturbed your family's harmony." As Lena spoke, her eyes began to redden, and her voice trembled slightly. "My mom only had me, I don't have a sister, so don't call me sister. I've never been the type to show mercy to women. Even if she really cried, it wouldn't affect me at all." I said coldly, "Since you secretly gave birth to the child in the first place, you should have made adequate preparations and never shown up in front of us. Now we're getting divorced. Are you happy now?" "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you liked Wade, just like Ace." "In that case, I'll take Wade with me." Lena made a move to pull Wade away. "It's okay, Lena. It's not your fault. Wade is my child too, and I'm the one who should take responsibility." Ace walked over to Lena, gently patted her back, and comforted her. He immediately turned to me with an unfamiliar expression I had never seen before. "Yuri, that's enough. You're an adult. Watch your language in front of the children. Bad woman, you bully my mom, I hate you." The child saw Lena crying and ran over, swinging his fists at me. Though he was young, he was surprisingly strong, and the blows landed on me with such force that I winced in pain. I unconsciously kicked the child lightly with my foot, and he immediately fell to the ground and started crying. His cries were very shrill. Seeing this, Lena stopped crying and quickly ran over to help the child up and held him in her arms. "Yuri, I know you hate me. If you're angry, just hit me. But Wade is still a child. Please don't take your anger out on him," Lena said pitifully, biting her lip and lowering her eyes, looking at the child in her arms with a helpless expression. "Enough, Yuri. Have you had enough? I know you're being stubborn, but hitting such a small child is going too far." Ace clenched his lips tightly and glared at me angrily. This was the first time Ace had ever lost his temper with me. In the 5 years we'd been together, I'd never seen this side of him. He hit me first. "Enough." Perhaps I was startled by Ace's outburst, and as I tried to explain, Ace cut me off. Ace quickly walked over to Lena, helped her and the child to their feet, and hid them behind him. I looked at the loving scene of the father and mother with their child and suddenly smiled. They act like I'm the one destroying their family. What a loving couple, it's so touching. After saying that, I ignored Ace's angry expression and turned to tell the clerk. "Wrap this up for the lady, it's on me. A wedding gift. Wishing you happiness." I wiped Ace's shoulder and left. After seeing Ace at the mall last time, I started having nightmares every night again. I dreamed that I kidnapped Lena and her children, that Ace looked at me with hatred, and that I jumped off a building. These dreams made it difficult for me to fall asleep, and my mental state was getting worse and worse. A friend recommended a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and told me to go see him. I used to think that traditional Chinese medicine practitioners were all old men, but I never expected that the traditional Chinese medicine practitioner my friend recommended would be Gus, Ace's college roommate. When I was in college, I often accompanied Ace to class, so I had seen Gus many times. When Gus saw me, he looked a little shocked at first, but then he put on his familiar smile and greeted me. He took my pulse and prescribed some medicine for me. "Why isn't Ace with you?" Gus handed me a glass of water and asked. I didn't want to answer, so I changed the subject. "Didn't you study finance in college? How did you end up becoming a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner?" "My family has been practicing traditional Chinese medicine for generations. I studied finance in college purely out of interest. Now I've taken over the family business." Gus could tell I didn't want to talk about it, so he changed the subject. He gave me some advice and drove me home. When I got home, I was boiling the medicine that Gus had given me in a large bag when I heard the front door open. I thought it was a burglar, so I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and quietly walked over. "Yuri." It was Ace's voice. He hadn't been home for so long that my first reaction was that there was a burglar. I smiled wryly, put down the knife, and walked toward the living room. Ace was holding my favorite milk tea. This milk tea shop is very popular, and every time I want to drink it, I have to wait in line for a long time to buy it. "Yuri, I brought you your favorite." Ace walked over and put the milk tea in my hand. It was still hot. He wrinkled his nose. "Why does it smell like Chinese medicine in the house? Are you sick?" Ace bent down, touched my forehead with his hand, and looked at me straight in the eyes. It seemed like I had been having too many nightmares about Ace lately, so I subtly distanced myself a little and felt somewhat resistant to his touch. Ace sensed my rejection and sighed. "Yuri, it's been a long time. You should get over it by now." I lowered my head and avoided his gaze. "Did you come back here to tell me you want a divorce?" "Yuri, you know I love you. I won't divorce you." Ace's warm hand caressed my face as he whispered softly. I asked, "What about Lena and the others? What will happen to them?" Ace simply said, "Wade hasn't been feeling well lately, and Lena can't take care of him by herself. Once Wade is feeling better, I'll bring him to our place, okay? Why should I raise someone else's child? I'm not a saint." I slapped Ace's hand away, feeling a little agitated. "Yuri, I've thought about this a lot, and this is the best solution. Please listen to me and try to understand. Ace finished speaking and came over to hug me. Feeling his long-lost embrace, I unconsciously reached out and hugged Ace back. Ace felt my response and his voice became much lighter. I knew it, Yuri is the most understanding. Thank you for understanding, Yuri. Ace, you forgot this. I'll bring it up for you. Ace came in without closing the door, and Lena stood at the doorway, holding the same cup of milk tea that Ace had just brought me. Didn't I tell you to wait in the car? Why did you come up here? Ace let go of me and shouted at Lena impatiently. I saw that you forgot your milk tea, so I brought it up for you. Lena bit her lip lightly and looked at Ace with innocent eyes. Didn't I tell you to drink it? Go wait in the car. Oh, it was for me. Sorry to bother you, Yuri. Lena flashed a sweet smile, waved at me as if showing off, then turned and walked away. I couldn't believe it. I pushed Ace's hand away from my waist, and the anger that had been building up inside me flared up. Why was Lena waiting for you in the car? Did you just come back to see if I was still living in your house? Do you want me to leave now and make room for the three of you? I was driving Wade home from the hospital and saw your favorite milk tea. I bought it but was afraid it would get cold, so I brought it back for you. Yuri, don't make a fuss. Ace furrowed his brow, looking impatient. I'm looking for trouble? Ace, why don't you take a look at yourself right now? You've never been like this before. Ace's impatient expression hurt me, as if I had returned to the dream where he hated me. In the past, whenever you got angry, you would bring up the past. Yuri, people change. How am I supposed to deal with this situation now? Did I force Lena to have a baby? Do you really think I'm not suffering now? I've been trying to resolve this. Please don't cause me any more trouble, Yuri. Ace's thin lips pressed into a straight line, his expression growing increasingly gloomy. Your solution is to not go home for a month and a half and spend every day with them, right? I think you're trying to get rid of me. I stared into Ace's eyes, feeling a lump in my throat that was both uncomfortable and painful. Yuri, can you not speak so harshly? I said from the start that I would not leave you. Now you are acting like a shrew, making such a scene. How am I supposed to continue living with you? Ace withdrew his gaze from me, his voice low and hoarse. If you can't go on living, then get out. I said sign the divorce papers, and we'll have nothing more to do with each other. In an instant, I lost my mind, grabbed the cup next to me, and threw it at him. The cup shattered with a clang at Ace's feet. You're completely unreasonable. All these years, I've really spoiled you rotten. Ace glanced at me, dropped that line, and slammed the door on his way out. I deliberately ignored the recent incident, finished my medicine, and went to bed. I have to admit that the medicine Gus prescribed was quite effective. I lay in bed and soon felt sleepy. Just as I was about to fall asleep, a pair of hands suddenly pulled me into a familiar embrace. It was Ace. He tightened his arms, his chin resting on my head, his hands groping my body. Yuri. Ace's voice was hoarse and low, his lips constantly touching my body. I miss you so much, Yuri. I know what he's trying to do. Every time I get angry and Ace can't calm me down, he sticks to me and asks for what he wants. This tactic is despicable, but it really works for me. I always feel much better after it's over and forgive him. But this time it's different, Ace. I pushed Ace's chest with both hands, but my strength was too weak. Ace's hands roamed over my body, and my nightgown was already half off. My tears fell like a faucet that hadn't been turned off properly. Ace, who was still moving, sensed something was wrong and stopped. I'm sorry, Yuri. Ace's eyes flashed, and he hugged me, kissing away my tears. Yuri, stop being so stubborn. I'll bring Wade back in a while, and we'll be just like before, okay? What about Lena? Lena. You never even considered letting Lena live on her own. Lena would never agree to Wade leaving her. I turned away, not looking at Ace. No, Yuri, I've thought it through. I'll give Lena some money so she can live well. Ace, did you really meet Lena because of Wade? Would you have met her if it weren't for Wade? You'll still see her. You can't let her go, Ace. Yuri, I don't. I love you. Ace explained frantically. Ace, don't deny it. I'll let you have them, won't I? Don't torture me anymore. Just sign the papers, and you can be with them. I closed my eyes tightly, my chest feeling tight. I won't allow it, Yuri. I won't let you leave. Ace rubbed his face against mine and hugged me tightly from behind. I can stay, but you have to let Lena go. I don't want Wade either. Yuri, can you stop making things difficult for me? Put you in a difficult position? You give them some money so they can leave and go back to their old life. Is that putting you in a difficult position? But Wade is my child. I can't just abandon him. I'm afraid of pain, so I asked Ace if we could be childless after we got married, and he agreed, saying that he didn't like children anyway. But now he tells me that Wade is his child and he can't just abandon him. Ace's phone rang again at the most inopportune moment. He hesitated for a moment, then answered the call. Lena's anxious voice came through the phone. Ace, Wade has a fever again. What should we do? Don't worry, I'll be right there. Ace picked up his clothes and tried to leave. Ace, can you stay? You haven't spent time with me in a long time. I begged, pulling on Ace's clothes. Ace was taken aback and rubbed my hair. Silly, Wade has a fever. I'll take him to the hospital and come right back. Wait for me. Why don't you have your secretary take them, or call an ambulance? Why do you have to go yourself? Lena is so worried about Wade. She'll be scared, and she won't know what to do. Ace tried to pry my hands open, but I held on tighter. What about me? You've left me at home more than once since they showed up. I'll be scared too. Ace, I'm your wife. Ace stroked her forehead and sighed. Yuri, be good. I'll be back soon, just an hour, okay? Ace, if you leave this time, I'll file for divorce. I grabbed Ace's clothes, feeling bitter inside. Actually, I still loved Ace from the bottom of my heart, and I didn't want him to leave. This was my last attempt. If Ace stayed this time, I would go back to the way things were before. I could even accept him bringing Wade back. As long as Ace stays, I'll do anything. Yuri, can you stop causing trouble? You're not a child anymore. After saying that, he forcefully pried open my tightly clenched hand and hurriedly left. My throat was so sore it hurt, and my chest felt like it was being squeezed by a giant hand, making it difficult to breathe. Ace, you chose them after all. Ace. Ace lied to me again. I sat on the edge of the bed, waiting from dusk till dawn, but he still didn't come back. I smiled wryly. It was indeed my own fault for getting my hopes up. After 5 years, I knew Ace too well. His love and indifference were very obvious. Maybe I should have left long ago. I got up and packed my things, and suddenly felt like going back to my hometown to see my mother. I entrusted the divorce to a lawyer and bought the earliest flight home. When I was almost at the door, I told my mother that I had arrived. She ran out excitedly, took the luggage from my hands, and smiled from ear to ear. Why didn't you tell me your daughter was coming back? Mom looked behind me. Why isn't Ace here? Is he too busy with work? I forced a smile and pretended to be casual. Mom, Ace, and I are getting divorced. My mother's expression changed slightly, and she immediately grabbed my hand. If you want a divorce, then get a divorce. Leave my precious daughter. It's his loss. I felt a pang of sadness. All the grievances I had been holding in over the past few days seemed to explode at that moment. I couldn't hold back, my nose stung, and tears flowed uncontrollably. Mom hugged me and gently patted my shoulder. Before I knew it, a week had passed in my hometown, and for that entire week, I had managed to stop thinking about Ace. But somehow, my condition didn't improve. I didn't take the medicine Gus prescribed, and I started having nightmares every night, reliving the day I jumped off the building. I lost 5 pounds in a week. Seeing that I was in a bad way, my mother insisted on dragging me to our neighbor's house. She said that the doctor who had moved in recently was a very nice person. I couldn't argue with my mother, so she dragged me to knock on the neighbor's door. When the door opened, I saw a familiar face. It was Gus. I subconsciously felt that Ace had sent him to monitor me, so I immediately turned around and wanted to leave. But Gus spoke first. "Yuri, long time no see." "Gus, you know my daughter?" My mother spoke familiarly to Gus, who nodded slightly and stared straight at me. I stood at the door of Gus's house, saying nothing, just looking down at the ground. My mother squeezed my hand gently, signaling me to say something. I made an excuse to talk to Gus alone and sent my mom home. "Did Ace send you?" Gus still stood at the door listening to me. "If he did, tell him it's over between us. He's wasting his time." Gus listened to me, grinned, and the sun shone on his hair. "Yuri, I'm here to relax. It has nothing to do with Ace." I felt a little awkward and stood there not knowing what to do. Gus saw that I was a little nervous and invited me into his house. I sat on the sofa and looked around. Gus's house was simply decorated, and the off-white color scheme made the small room look neat and cozy. "How did you end up vacationing here?" I was a little curious, as Gus had been busy treating patients just a few days ago. "I had a fight with my family, so I came here to rest for a while." Gus handed me a cup of warm water and sat down opposite me. I chuckled. "You're so old and you still fight with your family? From what you just said, didn't you have a fight with Ace too?" Gus stared at me intently, smiling slightly. "Yes, I'm getting divorced." I avoided Gus's gaze and looked down at my cup. "Your aunt said you've been in a bad state lately. She asked me to check on you." Gus stopped staring at me and softened his tone. "A little." I told Gus what had happened recently, including Lena and the child. Gus talked with me for a long time and even gave me acupuncture. From then on, my mom often invited Gus over for dinner. At first, my mom cooked, but later Gus insisted on showing off his skills and cooking for us. Surprisingly, Gus's cooking was quite delicious, and gradually, dinner became Gus's responsibility. I had a wonderful time with my mom and Gus. Before dinner, we would go grocery shopping together. I would wash the vegetables while watching Gus cook. We spent nearly 3 months like this, quietly and peacefully. During that time, I learned that Gus still wanted to go into finance, but his family disagreed. Gus's father got angry and made Gus stay home to reflect on his actions, but Gus ran away. He wasn't there on vacation at all. When I found out about this, I teased Gus for a long time. Time flies, and I haven't had those dreams in a long time, nor have I thought about Ace. During this period, the lawyer often sent me messages to update me on the divorce proceedings. The lawyer said that Ace refused to appear in court, and after being forced to appear, he strongly objected, saying that we did not have marital discord. Later, the lawyer presented evidence about Lena and the children, but Ace still refused to admit it, saying that even if that were the case, he would not divorce her. But the law didn't go Ace's way, and in the end, the court granted the divorce. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Ace and I had been together for 5 years, so our circle of friends was naturally inseparable. Several friends chatted with me, saying that Ace had been frantically looking for me recently and asking what was going on. Ace called me in the middle of it, and I immediately blocked all of his contact information. Since it's over, we really won't see each other again. That day, Gus and I went out for a walk after dinner as usual. But at the entrance of the alley, we saw a familiar car. It was Ace, leaning against the car door, looking exhausted. When he saw me, Ace's eyes lit up, and he quickly walked up and grabbed my hand. Yuri, I finally found you." Ace looked at me deeply, his narrow, almond-shaped eyes seeming to sparkle with deep affection. I tried to pull my hand away, but Ace held it tightly. Gus pulled me behind him and said coldly, "Ace, control yourself." Ace saw Gus and narrowed his eyes, his gaze shifting between Gus and me. "Gus?" I came out from behind Gus and motioned for him to go ahead. There were some things I needed to discuss with Ace alone. Gus walked away, looking back at me, and I gave him a reassuring look. After Gus left, Ace took a step forward, pulled me into his arms, and rested his chin on the hollow of my neck, rubbing it back and forth. He whispered softly, "Yuri, I know I was wrong. Come back." I used all my strength to try to push Ace away, but I couldn't break free from his grip. I let my hands hang down and allowed him to hold me, speaking coldly, "Ace, we're divorced. I'm doing just fine without you. Please don't bother me anymore. We're not getting divorced. I didn't agree to it, Yuri. Don't leave me. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Do you know what? Without you, I've been a mess. Your shadow is everywhere in the house. I can see you, but I can't touch you. I dream every night about what happened between us, but when I wake up, you're not there. I miss you so much, Yuri. Please come back to me. Let's go back to the way we were." He held me tighter, as if he wanted to embed me into his chest. "Ace, I gave you a chance, but you still left. It was your choice." Ace looked up, cupped my face in his hands, and explained earnestly, "Yuri, are you still angry about that night? I'm sorry, but Wade often has a fever, and if I don't rush over in time. Don't bother explaining to me. I'm not angry anymore. I don't love you anymore, Ace. Don't you understand?" My voice was flat and calm, my eyes coldly fixed on Ace, devoid of any emotion. Ace's eyes were bloodshot, and his hands holding my face trembled slightly. "Is it Gus? Is it because of him that you divorced me? You like him and don't want me anymore, right? Just now, you too." "Ace." I interrupted him coldly. "Why don't you understand? Ace, you've been abandoning me from start to finish. You chose Lena and the child, and I've given you everything. What more do you want? Yuri, I didn't choose them. I listened to you. Give Lena some money. I don't want Wade either. I only want you, only you. Please come back with me. Don't leave me." Ace's face was pale, his eyes red, and he looked at me pleadingly. In the past, I would have forgiven Ace immediately when he looked like this. I couldn't bear to see Ace in pain. I would feel sorry for him and couldn't help but feel sorry for him. But now, I feel calm inside, and seeing Ace like this makes me want to laugh. I push Ace's hands away, take a step back, and stare at him coldly. "Ace, accept reality. It's really over between us. Don't ever come looking for me again." After saying that, I turned and walked away, but I heard Ace growl softly behind me. "Yuri, I'll prove it to you. I won't let you leave." I hadn't walked far when I noticed Gus leaning against the wall at the corner, waiting quietly for me. I put away my cold expression, smiled, and patted Gus on the shoulder. "Let's go home." After Ace left, I thought he would understand that I really wanted to end things with him. But he came back the next day. Ace stood in front of my house with a bouquet of pink tulips and my favorite chocolate cake, attracting the attention of the neighbors. My mom saw Ace at the door, hitting him with a broom to chase him away, but he just stood there. I stepped forward to stop my mom. Ace saw me coming, his eyes shining brightly. "Yuri, you're here." Ace held up the chocolate cake and waved the box in his hand expectantly. "I bought your favorite cake and your favorite tulips." I walked up to Ace and sighed. "Ace, why are you here again? Didn't I make myself clear enough yesterday?" "Yuri, I sent Lena and Wade abroad. I won't see them again. Don't worry. Come back with me. Let's go back to how we used to live, okay?" Ace said softly, handing me the cake in his hand. "Ace, I'm serious. I really don't love you anymore." I stared at Ace, my face serious, saying each word slowly. Ace's body froze in place, the smile on his face stiffening, his hand still holding the cake he was about to give me. I pushed the cake back without using much force, but it fell to the floor with a loud thud. "Ace, I have a new life now. I hope you can continue to find your own happiness." After saying that, I didn't look at Ace's expression and pulled my mom back into the house. I mean what I say. Although Ace did hurt me, I believe that his love for me in the past was genuine. I also hope that he will be happy. Ace didn't come after her. He stood there as if he had lost his soul. After what seemed like an eternity, he left, leaving behind the bouquet of tulips and the chocolate cake. The days that followed were as peaceful as before, except that Ace would occasionally come by, but he no longer bothered me. He would just stand at the door and stare quietly. I would pretend not to see him, thinking that maybe he would forget after a while. It was Lena who came to see me, which surprised me because Ace said they had already left the country. Lena stood at my door with her child, crying and begging me to let Ace go. Gus was afraid Lena would hurt me, so he stood in front of me to block her. Just as I was about to speak, Ace appeared out of nowhere and pulled Lena away. Lena refused to leave, still saying, "Yuri, leave Ace alone. Don't bother him anymore." The child was frightened by the situation and started crying. To be honest, this child is quite pitiful. He has never done anything wrong, it is just that he was born into circumstances he could not choose. Before I could say anything, Ace shouted, "Lena, will you ever stop? I'm not marrying you, and it has nothing to do with Yuri. It's me who doesn't want to marry you." Lena didn't believe him and said that I was preventing the three of them from being together as a family and that I had stolen Wade's father. Lena wanted to rush over and hit me. Gus was quick on his feet and pulled me behind him. Ace seemed to be enraged by what he saw and grabbed Lena's wrist and dragged her away. Later, I heard from a friend that Lena had been forcibly taken out of the country by Ace. But it's none of my business anymore. That day, Gus was cooking in the kitchen and asked me to get some ice cubes from the refrigerator. When I opened the refrigerator, I saw it filled with pink flowers, like a sea of flowers, dazzling and brilliant. I was shocked by the scene in the refrigerator. I turned around and saw Gus kneeling on one knee with a bouquet of flowers in his hand. "Yuri, will you be my girlfriend?" I snapped out of my shock. "Gus, I just got out of a marriage. Can you give me some time?" Gus took my hand and held it gently. "I'll wait for you. I'll wait as long as it takes." I smiled at Gus, looked up at the window, and saw that the sun was shining brightly.